Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, November 1st, and thank you for joining us for Up to the Minute. I'm Andrea Bonner, Chair of Consumer Arts and Sciences, filling in for our regular host, Todd Duplantis. Joining me today is Dr. Nicholas Cox, who is our History Department Chair, and he's going to tell everyone how to find us today.
Good morning. We're live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page and on YouTube. We're also on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Thanks, Dr. Cox. Today, I'll be talking to some folks who are putting HCC on the global map with Digital Fashion Archive, which is now on the Google Arts and Culture platform. That is Professor Alex Chapman, who is the Fashion Design Program Coordinator for Consumer Arts and Sciences, and Erica Hubbard, who is our Director of Library Services. But first, for Tasty Tuesday, Nick is talking to an old classmate of his who is not just a local celebrity chef, but also the winner of MasterChef and much more. That is Christina Ha. Again, she's the founder, chef, and co-owner of The Blind Goat and winner MasterChef Season 2. Take it away, Nick.
Thank you, Andrea. Welcome to the show, Christine. It's been several years since you won MasterChef. But we would be remiss if we didn't ask you about that experience as a blind chef and how it opened doors for you.
Hi, Nick. It's good to chat with you again. Thanks for having me on the show. So winning MasterChef was, believe it or not, it was 10 years ago. And it's really changed my life. Obviously, I was with you in class and still ended up receiving my MFA in creative writing and completed that degree. But it really launched the culinary side of my career. So afterwards, I got to write a cookbook, put my writing skills to work, as well as open 2 restaurants in Houston. First one, The Blind Goat. Second one, Chao, which both were nationally recognized by James Beard, which was really amazing. And then we're currently now moving The Blind Goat into its own brick and mortar location. It kind of outgrew its space in the food hall downtown. And we're also just announced opening up a third concept called Stuffed Belly.
All right, fantastic. Well, speaking about MasterChef for a moment, you recently reappeared on season 12. What was that like?
It's fun to be on the other side for sure. It's very stressful to compete, but I do somewhat miss production and TV. It's kind of a whole different animal than cooking. I mean, there's still that sort of pressure, but I like being on the other side to mentor the contestants, and I know exactly how they're feeling because I've been on that side as well. So, and of course, it's always fun to reunite with the judges, especially Gordon.
Fantastic. Tell us about The Blind Goat, how it started, and tell us a little bit more about the relocation.
Yeah, The Blind Goat, I named it that. A lot of people wonder why it's named that because I am visually impaired, so I'm known as the blind cook or the blind chef. But I wanted to name it something slightly different. And I was actually born the year of the goat. So that's my Eastern zodiac sign. So we called it The Blind Goat. I call it like a contemporary Vietnamese eatery. We take a lot of street foods or comfort foods of Vietnam and kind of modernize it and bring it into the Houston landscape. And it opened in 2019, and it was recognized by the James Beard Foundation for being a semifinalist for Best New Restaurant that year. And it outgrew its space. Like, we just want to add more to the menu, be able to welcome more people to the table. So currently we're building out. We're expected to finish construction in about a month's time. So hopefully, if everything goes on track, we'll be open for soft opening in December of this year. And it's in Spring Branch, so kind of a up and coming neighborhood again in Houston. So I'm excited to open that.
All right, fantastic. I have a question for you about Chao. First of all, I'll just say I'm a huge fan of the winner chicken dinner and the apple pie a la mode. But I kind of recall that it opened shortly after everything started to reopen. Was this a pandemic gestation, this other restaurant?
Well, we actually signed the lease right before the pandemic happened and everything started shutting down. So we signed that lease in January of 2020. So, once everything kind of started shutting down in February, March, we started accumulating back rent. So at some point, everyone kind of thought, if you can recall that time, we were wondering how long this would last. We thought maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months, but then we knew after a while we were kind of in it for the long haul. So we had to figure out a way to get open. So we did open in September of 2020, and it was very difficult. A lot of things had changed, like people weren't eating out. We had to change our menu or style of service. The supply chain was and is still kind of wreaking havoc over a lot of things in the restaurant industry. So we had to make it work somehow, though. So I think everything leading up to my life at this point, I've had to really learn to adapt. Of course, like from losing my vision in my 20s to my autoimmune condition and learning to cook with less and less vision, opening a first restaurant, now opening the second restaurant at the height of the pandemic. I think what's really taught me to persevere is that things will come and they will be challenging, but it will pass at some point, and you really have to learn to be nimble and adaptable. And I think that's really the key to life, is being able to figure out how to put one foot forward and taking the next step to try to make things work, regardless of whatever challenges come along.
Oh, that's wonderful. That combination of both strength and flexibility to be able to, adapt and find advantages in those events. So I have a question. How did the James Beard Award and your New York Times bestselling cookbook, how did those impact your career as a restaurateur?
They were definitely things that pushed my career further along. It's funny because people ask me, like, why did I go on MasterChef? And I really attribute it to the fact that I was in graduate school in creative writing, and I wanted the experience to have a story to write about. I didn't really go on, I wanted to learn more about cooking, but I didn't go on there expecting to win or expecting to go far or wanting to become famous or anything. I really did it for creativity purpose. So for me, my philosophy in life is always to kind of be better today than I was yesterday, whether it's cooking, it's writing, it's living a life of integrity, helping the community, whatever it is. It's not really to get recognized or get accolades. Of course, by all means, those things are nice. So those things did sort of solidify that I am doing certain things right. And I think it's nice to be recognized for the hard work I've put in, but I always feel like there's always things to improve upon and things to work on. So for me, it's nice to have these recognitions, and it allows me to sit back and think like, wow, I've really come a long way. And that's very encouraging. But I also still think there's so many more monumental things to accomplish in life. So it just pushes me harder to keep achieving.
Fantastic. So Christine, I read that Sin Chao will be maybe hosting some holiday parties this holiday season. If somebody wanted to reserve that fantastic restaurant there, what would they do? How would they go about renting?
Yeah, thanks for asking, Nick. Sin Chao would love to host your party, whether it's corporate or family or whatever. So the best way would be to go to our website, sinchaohtx.com, or email us at info@sinchaohtx.com. And I know that could be a little complicated, so let me spell it out. So Sin Chao does mean hello in Vietnamese, and it's spelled XINCHAO. And so it's info@XINCHAOHTX.com.
We'll try to have some links for that at the show notes after the show.
Great.
So I have one last question for you. As Andrea mentioned earlier, you and I met in grad school quite a while back, actually before MasterChef. So I don't want to think about how long ago that was. We studied the poetry of Emily Dickinson together in a graduate seminar in the creative writing program. Do you find time to write today? Will there be another cookbook or perhaps a memoir?
That's been the ongoing question. So, it's been the restaurants and a lot of my other work have taken up so much of my time, but I do miss sort of that solitude and a very introspective process of writing. So here and there, I have been finding time, and I've been trying to dedicate more time to continuing to revise my memoir, and hopefully that'll come out eventually. But I've been reworking that draft because that was my thesis in grad school. And I would love to write another cookbook. There have been some thoughts like bubbling around in my head, trying to figure out like what would the theme of the next cookbook be. So in short, yes, Nick, I'm hoping to write some more and revisit that side of my creative brain.
All right. Well, excellent. I hope to see you sometime soon at one of your restaurants. And when you're ready to start another one, I hope you would consider I live in Sugar Land. I hope you would maybe bring one of those restaurants. Once the Spring Branch one is a success, maybe think about Sugar Land for me.
Okay, I'll take note of that.
All right. Well, thank you, Christine Ha, founder, chef, and co-owner of The Blind Goat, and Sin Chao, winner of MasterChef Season 3, and much more. We'll have your info in the post after the show.
Great.
Thanks, Dr. Cox, and thanks, Christine, Chef Christine. That was really interesting. Next, we are moving on to two of my favorite people. Not that I have favorites, but I have favorites. That's Alex Chapman, who's the Fashion Design Program Coordinator for Consumer Arts and Sciences, and Miss Erica Hubbard, who is our Director of Library Services. Welcome back to the show, because you guys are on the show quite often, Alex and Erica. This is so exciting for HCC. We have been announcing over and over on Up to the Minute to make sure that everyone understands the elite company that you keep with Google. So Alex, we're going to start with you. So okay. Tell us, explain what this recognition is with Google Arts and Culture and how many Houston institutions are included in it.
First of all, it's a privilege to be part of the Google Art and Culture family. It's very important because it's taken us about 4 years to get this initiative going and finished. So going back to your second question, there's only three other institutions that are part of Google Art and Culture, and they're Museum of Fine Arts, Museum of Natural Science, and the Menil Collection. So we are in a very cool and as well as a really intellectual kind of group of institutions. And it's a very privilege to be part of this.
That is a privilege. And I feel like that we can use that as some leverage to get a raise. Sidebar. Joking.
I say thumbs up for that.
I say go for it. Okay. So with the tagline, Know Your History, Fashion Your Future, this is a free resource for fashion design and research. So Alex, tell us, what is the Fashion Archive and how long has it been in existence?
Okay, well, the Fashion Archives is a collection of clothes that spans from 1740 to current day. So that's a whole lot of centuries. And again, we're very fortunate to have such a huge collection of items. It started in the mid 80s by our past departmental head, Kay King. And it started out with just a collection of racks that a lot of friends, as well as herself, donated, and then it just started to accumulate. But it didn't really get its name until Erica Hubbard and her library team actually was able to begin the process of digitizing the collection. So therefore, the collection of clothes have now been called the Houston Community College Fashion Archive.
Well, and we appreciate Erica for that, and we're going to talk to her a little bit more. But we talked a little bit speak about the significance of HCC being one of the only community colleges in the country that features the Fashion Archive. I don't think people really realize the significance of that.
Well, I mean, because again, as a community college with a very thriving and successful fashion department, what's significant about it is, again, you said this earlier, it is a research and teaching tool. And again, it's a free resource, not just for HCC students, but for anybody out there in this world that is looking into researching fashion or is interested in fashion. And being one of the few community colleges, I mean, other community colleges as well as four-year institutions have costume collections, but they are not professionally digitized like ours is.
That's great. Well, Alex, you have a lot of hats. You serve as the curator of the archive. So tell me, what type of items do we accept for the archive, and how would someone go about donating something from the archive? To the archive, I'm sorry.
Okay, so we have a lot of different items in the archive. Like I said, it spans from 1740 to current day. So our archive is really, for the moment, divided into four collections. We have an historical collection, which is clothes, again, from 1740 to current day. We have our alumni collection, pieces from our past students. We have an international dress collection, which, HCC is represented by 115 countries. And so we have a really good but still growing collection of international dress. And then for this phase, we just started our textiles collection. So again, anything that has to do with fashion, whether it's accessories or whether it's clothing. And of course, we have holes in our collection. So we're looking to add more pieces, even though we have 8,500 pieces, but we're still looking to add more pieces to fill in the gaps in our collection.
Well, you kind of answered a question that you beat me to the punch. I was going to ask how many pieces you said how many we have overall, but how many pieces do we have currently digitized?
Okay.
And what was the most recent phase that we completed?
Okay, so for phase 1 and phase 2, we have about almost 525 pieces digitized, but this phase was a little bit more. And so currently we have close to almost 800 items digitized, and it's a very easy way to navigate the fashion archive. You just either type in something like 1940s, and everything that we have in our inventory will pop up. And so for the past, well, let's just say the phase that we just digitized, we have a lot of pieces that, again, that filled in the gaps that the 2 previous collections had quite open. So yes, we had more clothes from a lot of the students just asked if we could digitize more pieces from the 1970s and 80s, because there's a lot of trends coming out from those decades. So we fulfilled that. And I think if we're able to do phase 4 will be predominantly more of the accessories, because we have about 2,000 accessories that need to be digitized as well.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Alex. Well, we're going to bring Erica into the conversation now. Hey, Erica. Before the Google project, you were instrumental in getting the initial grant to digitize the fashion archive. So is the archive just for HCC students to access? And Alex kind of already spoke to that, but we'll let you speak to that as well.
Right. Yes. Thanks for having me. No, the archive is accessible to anyone that has internet connection. Anyone in the world can access our archive, and we're super excited about that. I mean, the exposure that Google Arts and Culture, the platform, provides us is, you can't underestimate, the value in that. And I do want to reiterate something, Andrea. We are one of just 2 community colleges in the U.S. with a collection, forget about just fashion, but just with a collection that's actually hosted on the platform. So that just really speaks volumes about the creativity of our students, of our staff, of what we represent here at Houston Community College. We've been doing this since 2018. You were there from the jump. We were writing grants. We were able to secure about 3 grants through the Texas State Libraries and Archives Department by way of the Institute of Museum and Library Services. And so we've been able to add things to the archives on a yearly basis, minus COVID.
That's amazing. And how did the Google Arts and Culture grant come about? You spoke about the grants, but right. I know that you wrote the grant, but there was a team of people that supported you as well, correct?
Absolutely. There's no one person that could take credit for any of this. We're all a fabulous team, and I have to give much credit to Shane Qureshi. Shane, just on a whim, not having any confidence that Google would respond, submitted the archive for consideration. And lo and behold, several weeks later, they did respond, and actually said they would have responded sooner, but the email got lost in someone's inbox. But yeah, it's an invitation-only platform. So I want to make sure that people understand that you just can't do that. They looked at what we had and thought it was really valuable. And through several years of working through Office of General Counsel and the team of corporate attorneys with Google's headquarters, eventually we got the contract signed and we began adding things to the platform really this past summer. That's when we started.
Yeah, I don't think people recognize how big of a deal it is. I mean, we say it a lot, but we're really proud of it. And I really appreciate, everything that you've done and the team has done to get us here. So thank you publicly for all of that. So we've got a capital campaign out there right now, HCC Fashion Archive Capital Improvement Plan. So tell us about how people can help us continue the work that we've already started, because, you know, we need resources to keep this up.
Absolutely. They don't just digitize by themselves. It requires a photographer and everything else that goes along with digitizing. Absolutely. Anyone can go to the fashionarchive.hccs.edu and click on the link that says support, and they can add that way in terms of they want to support us through those mechanisms. They can contact the HCC Foundation as well, and also give through those mechanisms as well. And like Alex said, there are holes in our collection. So if anyone has some of those items that Alex mentioned that we have a high demand for, they can always contact him at the fashion department.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alex Chapman, Fashion Design Program Coordinator, and Erica Hubbard, Director of Library Services. We'll have your information in our post after the show. Appreciate you guys for being on today.
Thank you.
All right. Well, next we've got our news, events, and announcements that I'm sure everyone wants to hear about. So I'll get started. Nick, you're going to help me get this list of information out today.
Sounds
so
good.
Today is the deadline for our League of Innovation Awards. Again, our nominations are due today. Everybody's probably seen the emails that have come out from the chancellor. I just think we got one today. Nominations are due for community college faculty, staff, and leaders whose work has impacted the lives of students and their communities. HCC will select 2 faculty for teaching and 2 staff for leadership excellence. Honorees will be recognized at the League's Innovation Conference next March. And the deadline again is today, November 1st. I can't believe I'm saying November 1st. To view November nomination criteria and other info, then check the information after our show. So next, Nick, tell us about the Small Business Success Series.
Sure. Thank you, Andre. Yeah, HCC's Small Business Success Series is continuing its ongoing free 2-hour Zoom sessions in partnership with Wells Fargo. Those are on Tuesday and Thursdays all the way through November 10th at 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. Check our post after the show for the link for more details.
What about people that are looking for work-study opportunities, Dr. Cox? What can they do?
Well, eligible work-study students are encouraged to take advantage of this program to earn and learn. We'll have a link in our post after the show about all of the work-study opportunities here at HCC.
Perfect. The Hurricane Ian food drive by the HCC Psychology Club is coming up. So HCC Psychology Department is conducting a food drive for victims of Hurricane Ian. They are collecting non-perishable food items in the major entrances and atrium areas of several of our campuses. Beta Psi and Psi Kappa student organizations will donate all the items to the Houston Food Bank. It's from 10:30 to 12:30, Wednesday, November 9th at HCC Central, A-Leaf, Stafford, and Northline campus. For information about that, you can contact Dr. Genevieve Stevens, whose email will be in our post after the show. And next we have our All-Star Series, the dunk contests and 3-on-3. HCC Central College, which is where I'm housed, is having some fun for fitness with an all-star shootout. It's going to be from 1 to 3 p.m. on Monday, November 14th. That's when our dunk contest is going to be held. From 1 to 3 p.m. on Wednesday, November 16th. That's the 3-on-3. And it's going to be held at the HCC Central San Jacinto Gym. So you can call Daniel Lawson for information. His number will be in our post after the show. Dr. Cox, what about people that want to take some more classes at HCC? We've got some shorter fall classes that are still available.
That's right. It is November 1st. And so the fall semester is coming to an end pretty quickly in the next 4 or 5 weeks. But nonetheless, there are some programs in the college that have 4 and 5 week sessions that may be starting soon. Definitely check hcc.edu/apply for any possible classes in the fall session. Spring enrollment is going to open very soon. I think it'll open on Monday and Tuesday, depending on the session. We'll be offering classes in all of our modalities. We have classes that are called online anytime that have no established class meeting times. We have online on a schedule for students that want to meet at a specific time and have classes virtually. We're certainly keeping our on-campus traditional face-to-face classes We have hybrid classes that meet partly on campus and partly online. So once again, the fall semester is coming to a close in terms of sessions available, but spring semester is right around the corner.
That's great. Thanks, Dr. Cox. So up next for Gaming Wednesday, Twitch phenom Talia Vess will return to talk about her all things D&D and possibly other games as well. And our Coleman LVN program will join us along with the Center for Information and Study on Clinical Research Participation. They'll discuss the need or the need not for clinical trials. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Have a great day, and go Astros.